This video isn't exactly glamorous, but it's essential. If you're running a business, you have to forensically manage every cent that goes out and ensure that every cent is working as efficiently as it can for you. I'm going to take some time to talk through how we're cutting costs. Now, I don't think we necessarily need to. It wouldn't be the best advertisement for me to be saying, oh, we need to cut costs. But I think it's something really, really important that everybody does when they're running a business. Literally every 3-4 months, they forensically go through the money going out and see how that can be tightened up. The fact is, in any business, it comes down to the money in the organization, and if you're not efficiently spending every cent and every euro, that adds up, and you'll see an opportunity cost come up at the end of the year, or else you'll topple your business because you've been inefficient with the money. So I literally every 3-4 months go through things and tighten up. Even if I can save 10 euro, as far as I'm concerned, that's so important. So the first kind of part in this process is having your financials broken down to the cent. And that's something that we have in our management accounts, where literally we can go in at any point and see literally what we spent 10 cents on. Nothing is kind of pooled in. We can break everything down. And we have two types of costs. We have our fixed costs, fixed or variable. We have our kind of committed monthly costs, and then we have our once-off costs. So the first kind of area I always dig into is kind of the fixed costs. So one thing I'm in the middle of, I haven't ground down, is just our internet and phone costs. So we actually don't use an office phone here. Everybody's on mobile, so just cover them in our package. I think that's much more efficient. We don't need a landline. But I'm looking at our mobile providers to see, can we get a bit more efficient offering? That's something that's really important to check every few months, because look, as your organization grows, you qualify for different packages. Unless you're checking in, they're not going to ring you and say, hey, actually you qualify for cheaper rates. So that's something I'm doing at the moment. One that I've actually made a decision on is I'm moving our company accounts. I'm moving from AIB to Bank of Ireland. Bank of Ireland have a very supportive offer for businesses like ours, whereby they waive their bank charges. So we get billed between a kind of 150 and 200 quid every month. That's just for us making payments out and lodgements and our internet banking service. It's funny, I actually went to our existing bank, AIB, and said, look, I'm getting this offer from Bank of Ireland. They're going to waive our bank charges. They're going to match everything else, but they're going to waive our bank charges. Will you waive them so I don't have to move? And they said no. So taking that initiative, and there is a bit of bother in moving your company accounts. But for me, there's a number of other reasons, but the fact is, it's saving 150 quid a month, and that all adds up, and that could potentially be a new computer at the end of the year, or that could be a bit of a kind of a staff due every month. And so, yeah, a lot of organizations would sit back and go, oh, it's only this. But the fact of the matter is, if you have that attitude, it's not only that, it's numerous other things that you've taken that same attitude of, oh, it's only this. And that adds up, and that can be quite dramatic at the end of months and years. So that's something we're doing. But it's funny, even little things, we had a fruit delivery every week. We did it as a kind of a thing, and to be honest, in the first kind of weeks, months that we did it, everybody loved it and everybody really appreciated it. But then, to be honest, it just got taken for granted. And I think it's kind of interesting that a lot of businesses, that you do something on a once-off for your team or for work, and it's really special and everybody appreciates it and you get great value from it. But then it just becomes kind of the done thing, or it gets taken for granted, and as a result it loses its value. So for me, I think a big thing is I go through them and I actually pull them out, and I might swap it with something else, or I just might pull it out. That takes a bit of confidence turning to the team and going, look, here we're changing this up. But I think, again, it's important, because if there's something that is kind of a nice thing, not necessarily qualified as a perk, but it is just something nice, but it's been taken for granted, then, as I said, it loses its value. So there's no point in doing it. You put something else in. Yeah, again, that's something small. That's literally 50 quid a week. But again, it all adds up. And again, it's not about that one thing, but it's that attitude across the board. Something where I find real value, and every time I do this, we save a fortune, is the subscriptions. So for various people within your organization might need certain subscriptions for where they're at. As the months progress, those subscriptions might lose their value, or hell, their role might have evolved, and so that subscription becomes irrelevant, or sorry, not needed. And so one by one, I go through any of the subscriptions that are committed to on behalf of the business and just look at them and say, are these needed? Are they not? If they're, and as I said, more often than not, they're not needed. So that becomes a real savior for us. So yeah, it's something that I like to be really, really proactive in, because I feel I just feel every cent counts, and I'd far rather give the money to the team, or far rather invest the money saved into driving the business forward. I just think that every cent counts, and I think every cent has a compounding effect in a business. If you invested an extra €1,000 in every month into your business development over the year, I guarantee it's going to have a dramatic effect. Or if you took out that £1,000, similarly speaking, that'll have a dramatically negative effect. So having a kind of a proactive approach to any costs that a business has, and really rooting down to the tightest, most efficient spending the organization can have, is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the most beneficial and important things you can do in management.